What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with my Week 6 NFL Power Rankings. Biggest movers this week, two teams out of the NFC West. Cardinals moving up after a big win on the road, and the Seahawks moving down after an ugly loss at home. But we'll start it off here with 32 through 29. And, you can expect the Patriots, Panthers, Browns, and Dolphins all to sit here. Maybe the Dolphins could be moving up soon because Tua could be coming back. If that's the case and they start winning, obviously they're moving up. But the Browns, Panthers, and Patriots, nothing good to report. I mean, I guess the Patriots are finally going to start Drake May this week against the Texans. So maybe he gives them a better chance to win football games, but nothing really good happened for those bottom three. Obviously, the Dolphins did get a win because they did beat the Patriots, but it's nothing too crazy to be, really cheering about as they head into their bye week. 28 through 25. And Jaguars get their first win at moving up to 27 over the Colts. Rams fall one spot after their loss to the Packers at home. Raiders fall a few spots after their loss on the road to the Broncos. Then obviously the Titans are staying put at 28. So you get three of the four teams here in the AFC. And, you can kind of see the trend here. The AFC is kind of at the bottom of the totem pole here compared to the NFC. The NFC has some better teams right now, playing some better football. 24 through 21. Jets, Saints, Colts all lose, and that means they're all falling down. And then the Giants, they were the ones that upset the Seahawks last week, so they're moving up big in the rankings this week. But biggest news so far today on Tuesday, Jets firing Robert Saleh. Kind of a complete shock to everybody that it happened. I don't think he was the problem. I think it was the offensive coordinator problem. Him and Hackett, at least Rodgers and Hackett, couldn't really figure it out. And maybe, it was just a one-time thing there when he was the QB coach for Rodgers. So who knows what's going on there in New York. So maybe it'll be a change up there this week against the Bills and they'll come out firing the football all around. Saints, this team started 2-0 and they've slowly fallen off. They get the Bucks at home. If they lose that game, yeah, I'm writing off the Saints this year. I don't think they're going to have a chance to make the playoffs, but if they win that game at home against the Bucks, then the Saints team still has a shot, in my opinion, because whoever wins the NFC South obviously has to get into the playoffs. And as it looks right now, I mean, the Saints' best way to do it is probably a 9-8 run. This team's struggling, put up some good numbers though against the Jaguars on the road, but Jonathan Taylor not playing, I think that was the key factor and why they lost that game. If they had him, I'm sure they could have had a few more bigger plays, maybe a touchdown, and it would have proved the difference. But they go to Tennessee this week in a must-win game for both those teams. Then the Giants, like I said, upset the Seahawks, get the Bengals at home. A huge game for the Bengals because that's a must-win for them. And the Giants, if they can beat the Bengals too and kind of put them out of playoff contention this early, maybe we'll be looking at the Giants and thinking this team might be a wild card team. 20 through 17, those Bengals there losing in overtime to the Ravens. Unfortunately, they just couldn't get it done. The bad hold, missed field goal, next play, pretty much Ravens win the game. And they had it 1-2, and the Ravens hit a field goal to send it to OT. So the Bengals are so close to winning, almost what it feels like every week. They just can't get it done. I still like the Bengals this year. I think they can still make the playoffs if we're going to be honest. They have an easier schedule now that they've got their tough games out of the way. And I think this is where they got to start that run, at least to start the winning streak back up again. You got to beat the Giants. Bears and Cardinals, talk about beating teams. Bears beat the Panthers, so they're moving up here. Cardinals beat the Niners, who are at 18 now, after a surprising win. I think probably the biggest surprise of the week is the Cardinals going into San Francisco and beating them. The Niners, really, I don't want to say are missing McCaffrey because Mason's been exceptional, but it just seems like something's off with this offense. And I think once McCaffrey gets back, Mason will probably still be involved somehow. And so they just need to figure out who's going to be reliable for that offense as they, have a big game Thursday night football against the Seahawks. 16 through 13. And you get the Broncos moving up because of their win. You get the Falcons moving up because of their win in overtime against the Bucks. And then you have the Steelers falling after their loss at home to the Cowboys. Almost had it won with the fumble with a minute left in the red zone against the Cowboys, but they just couldn't fall on top of it. Obviously, Cowboys score, and the Steelers lose that game. And the Steelers 3-0, now 3-2, kind of where I thought they would be through 5 games. So 3-2 or 2-3. And they can go into Las Vegas here, get a win to really get back on their feet to move to 4-2. I could see that happening. Now the Eagles come out of their bye week to face the Browns. I expect a beat down there. Eagles should get above 500 here. Then the Falcons, should keep the winning ways going, and that offense is starting to click. So watch out for those Falcons here in these upcoming weeks. 12 through 9, you got three NFC teams here. You got the Cowboys and Packers moving up because of their wins. Seahawks obviously moving down because of that ugly loss at home to the Giants. And then the Chargers staying put at 11 because of the bye week. But the Cowboys, big game for them against Detroit this week. Detroit comes into town, obviously looking to revenge last year's loss. I think the Cowboys are playing some better football. Is it good enough to beat the Lions? I'm going to say no, but they need to get their defense healthy if they want to have a chance to win that game. Big Thursday night game as they're 3-2. Niners are 2-3. And let's say Niners win that game, Seattle loses here. They're both 3-3 through week 6. And I don't know. I think the NFC West is really up for grabs at this point in the season. I know it's a little early, but definitely not where I thought it would be at this point. And then you have my Packers beating the Rams on the road, getting above 500 to 3-2. And the game against the Cardinals, I think, could be a shootout there in Green Bay. So expect a high scoring game there, and it should be a good one. 8 through 5, you got Ravens, Commanders, Bucks, Bills. And the two teams that won obviously were 5 and 6 there because they're moving up. And the two teams that lost, the Bucks and the Bills, moved down. Well, I guess the Bucks moved down one because of their overtime loss to the Falcons. Bills stay put at 8 with their loss on the road to the Texans. And the Bills, I don't know why they didn't try to play for overtime. I think that's the most head-scratching thing. 3 incompletions, then you punt, and then you give the Texans a few seconds here to get 5, 10 yards. They do kick a game-winning field goal. It was very head-scratching from Sean McDermott there. I get maybe one pass in there to try to get a first down to really send it to overtime, but really concerned with their late play calling there as it cost them that game as they get the Jets this Monday Night Football in a huge game for the AFC East implications. And then obviously I got to talk about the Commanders here, what they're doing 4-1 through their first 5 games. No one saw that coming. I think they got giving off the huge vibes of Houston Texans last year. Second pick in the draft, take a quarterback, and he's balling out just like Stroud did last year. And this Commanders team has the weapons all around Daniels to be good. And Dan Quinn, obviously a defensive-minded guy, has really, really made this Commanders team kind of a threat here in the NFC East. And obviously, right now they're winning the NFC East. So the Commanders, if they can keep up this strong play, it's going to be some season because, no one has won the NFC East back-to-back seasons since I think 2001. So maybe the Commanders could be that team that wins it this year. And then, of course, they're going on the road actually to play the Ravens, who are at 5, with that huge win in overtime against the Bengals on the road. Obviously, Derrick Henry, monster game and a monster gain in overtime as well to set them up for a win. And this Ravens team keeps finding ways to win games, and they could be 5-0 if we're going to be completely honest. A toe, I guess, away from a win, and then obviously one non-pass interference call away from a win as well. So Ravens could be 5-0 and could be probably the number one team ranked here. But unfortunately, that's not the hand they are dealt right now. And it's a big game this week for the Ravens and Commanders. 4 through 1. 1 through 3 stays the same after the Chiefs Vikings win. Lions have a bye, so they're not moving anywhere. Then the Texans move up to 4 with their win over the Bills. And obviously a game-winning field goal. Like I said, bad clock management by the Bills. Texans take advantage of that, but they're concerned moving forward. Nico Collins gets hurt. It was a day-to-day thing. Now it might be a week-to-week with his hamstring injury. So that's something to monitor there. But hopefully Joe Mixon can return as well. And when he returns, that offense is just a little bit better than it is with instead of Cam Akers. So they should take care of the Patriots this week on the road, even with Drake May starting. Lions obviously going on the road to face Dallas. Going to be a great game there at the 425 slate. Then the Vikings and Chiefs head into their bye weeks undefeated, and obviously you can't be more happier than that. That's going to be it for my power rankings this week. Check back next week to see where your favorite team ranks after some good games. But until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.